వెల్కమ్ టు హర్షిత్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్ యూట్యూబ్ ఛానల్. ఏపీ మరియు తెలంగాణలో బెస్ట్ కాంపిటేటివ్ ఎగ్జామ్స్ యూట్యూబ్ ఛానల్గా ప్రజెంట్ హర్షిత్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్ డెవలప్మెంట్ అవుతుంది. అలానే మంచి మొబైల్ యాప్ కాంపిటేటివ్ ఎగ్జామ్స్కి హర్షిత్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్, దీంట్లో ఫ్రీగా అన్నీ ఉన్నాయి, చూసుకోండి.
So this is Venkatesham Sheni, history faculty. Now we are going to discuss about AP history. First of all, I would like to explain about the syllabus for Andhra Pradesh Public Service Commission examinations. What is the syllabus for AP history? So according to Andhra Pradesh Public Service Commission, it has prescribed the syllabus for Group 1, Group 2, sub-inspectors and other competitive examinations. So here, what is the syllabus as per the APPSC? What is the history syllabus? AP history syllabus, Andhra Pradesh history. What is the syllabus of Andhra Pradesh history according to APPSC? We have to discuss. The aspirants who are going to prepare for various competitive examinations which are conducting by APPSC, they have to follow AP history, because previously there was no separate AP history. Previously Telangana and AP both have same history. Previously Telangana and AP, they have same history. Every student of Andhra Pradesh have to read the same history. Whenever Andhra Pradesh was bifurcated, whenever Andhra Pradesh was divided, so here the history was separated. So AP history, it is separate, and Telangana history also, it is separate. That's why, but moreover 6-7 chapters, AP history and Telangana history, they have moreover 6-7 chapters are same chapters. So Telangana history and AP history having same chapters up to 6-7 chapters. So both have the same chapters up to 6-7 chapters. But now regarding this AP history, what is the syllabus? How many chapters are there? How many sub-chapters are there? So accurately, where is the starting point of AP history? Where is the starting point of AP history? So what is the approach? What is the preparation system of AP history? So we would like to explain everything so clearly. Now I want to explain about AP history, which is prescribed by Andhra Pradesh Public Service Commission. So now we are going to explain the AP history. Basically, according to Andhra Pradesh Public Service Commission, there are 6 units. There are 6 units regarding AP history. So everybody has to understand. So there are 6 units in AP history. So Andhra Pradesh Public Service Commission divided AP history into 6 units. Each unit consists number of chapters, number of lessons. Each unit consists number of lessons. So we have to discuss what are the 6 units. So here we have 6 units. In AP history we have 6 units. Understanding? So we have 6 units. In that 6 units, we have to discuss clearly each and every unit. So we have to discuss clearly each and every unit. Right? Now we are going to explain about first unit. What is first unit? First unit. So first unit consists number of lessons. First unit consists number of lessons. Right? Now I want to explain. So what is first lesson? What is first lesson in first chapter? what is the first lesson in first chapter? The first lesson is geographical features of or history of geographical features of AP. History of first lesson, history of geographical, so geographical features of AP. So this is very first chapter. This is very first chapter. What is that? So history of geographical features of AP. What is the effect of geographical features on AP history? So we have discussed that first chapter. What is that? The geographical features of AP. So what are the area? What is the area? In which area Andhra Pradesh is there? And what is the total square kilometers, square area, total square kilometers? How much population? What is the weather conditions? Everything we have discussed here. This is how the geographical conditions are affecting on AP history. How they are showing the effect on AP history. So the first lesson is the history of geographical features of Andhra Pradesh. Right? And second chapter. So in first unit, second chapter, what is second chapter? The prehistoric stage of Andhra Pradesh. Prehistoric stage of Andhra Pradesh. You know, what is prehistoric stage? Yeah, generally we have three historic stages. So generally there are three historic stages. Ancient history, ancient Paleolithic stage, ancient lithic stage, Mesolithic stage and Neolithic stage. We have this kind of stages in prehistoric stage. So generally history was divided. History was divided in two parts. That is prehistoric stage and historic stage. Are you understanding? You follow my words, what I'm going to say. You have to follow my words, right? So here, basically history has two parts. Basically history has two parts. What is that? So historic stage and prehistoric stage. Historic stage and prehistoric stage. So basically history has two kinds. Historic stage, prehistoric stage. So total prehistoric stage consists of stone ages or lithic ages. So that is prehistoric stage. Once again I am going to say, basically Indian history or AP history, whatever, Telangana history, whatever it is. So history has two parts. Okay? That is prehistoric stage, historic stage. Find it first. So depends on script. Depends on script, history was divided into two parts. Depends on the script. Whenever script was introduced, from that day onwards, it is called historic stage. Whenever the script was introduced, from that day onwards, that is called historic stage. But whenever the script was not introduced, that stage, before stage, that is called prehistoric stage. So see everybody what I am saying. Prehistoric stage, historic stage. Before invention of script, that is called prehistoric stage. After the invention of script, that is called historic stage. Basically, prehistoric stage has 3 parts. Historic stage also has 3 parts. Okay, here what are the stages in prehistoric stage? What are the stages in prehistoric stage? It has 3 stages. Prehistoric stage has 3 stages. 1, Paleolithic stage, Mesolithic stage, Neolithic stage. And if you come to historic stage has 3 stages. That is, those are ancient history, medieval history and modern history. Historic stage as well as historic stage has 3 parts. What is that? Ancient history, medieval history and modern history. But now I am coming to say about prehistoric stage of Andhra Pradesh. The second lesson in first unit. The second lesson in first unit. That is prehistoric stage of AP. Prehistoric stage of AP. Right? So, prehistoric stage of AP, we have to discuss about stone ages. So, we have discussed about stone ages. After that, and here in second chapter in prehistoric stage, what we have to study in prehistoric stage? We have ABC also. In prehistoric stage, we have to discuss about 3 concepts. One is history of Andhra state. History of Andhra. History of Andhra or Andhra state. Generally you see history of Andhra. Who are the Andhras? How do you say Andhra? What is the basic measurement for Andhra? So we have discussed about the history of Andhra. You know, where is the first reference about the Andhras? Where is the first reference? In which area? In which book or whatever? The first reference is there in Aitareya Brahmana. In Rigveda, Aitareya Brahmana is mentioning about the Andhra. That's why it is the first source. It is the first reference in Aitareya Brahmana. So, the first reference is Aitareya Brahmana mentioning about Andhra. Okay, that's why we have discussed about history of Andhra. And B, Andhra race. Andhra race. What is Andhra race? Is it a race? Or is it a language? Or is it an area name? Or and it is a kingdom name? What is this? So we have discussed about Andhra race. So what is the origin of Andhra race? What is the concept of Andhra race? So we have discussed about Andhra race in second lesson, B concept. And third concept, pre-rulers of Satavahana. So pre-rulers of Satavahana. Who are the pre-rulers to Satavahana? Yes, before Satavahana, who were the rulers? You know, Andhra Mahavishnu. Do you know that? Andhra Mahavishnu was the first ruler of Andhra. First ruler of Andhra area. Srikakulam, it is the capital to Andhra Mahavishnu. So Srikakulam is the capital to Andhra Mahavishnu. Which Srikakulam? Not the Srikakulam of district Srikakulam. It is not a district Srikakulam. It is a small village in Krishna district. It is a small village in Krishna district. That is Srikakulam on the bank of Krishna river. On the bank of Krishna river. Srikakulam was the village. It was the capital to Andhra Mahavishnu. Andhra Mahavishnu was the first ruler of Andhra Pradesh. That means Andhra area. So that's why he is called called pre-ruler to Shatavahanas. So we have to discuss all these concepts in first unit, second lesson. First unit, second lesson, we have discussed about these 3 points, Babu. So history of Andhra race and pre-rulers. This is second chapter in first unit. Second lesson in first unit. And third lesson, what is third lesson? Satavahanas. Satavahanas. So we have to discuss about Satavahanas. Right, you know, the biggest kingdom, the first kingdom in Andhra area as well as in Telangana area, Satavahanas. The Satavahanas. The first kingdom, that is the Satavahanas. You know, we have discussed about history of Satavahanas. We have discussed about political history of Satavahanas. We have discussed about all the kings of Shatavahanas. So, Shatavahana rulers, Srimukha Shatakarni. Srimukha Shatakarni was the founder of Shatavahana dynasty, eponym of Shatavahana dynasty, and the last one, third Pulamavi, the last ruler of Shatavahana dynasty was third Pulamavi. So from Srimukha to up to third Pulamavi, there were 30 rulers in Shatavahana dynasty. So we have discussed about all these 30 Shatavahana rulers. You know, the important ruler, who was the important ruler in Shatavahana dynasty? The important ruler was Gautamiputra Shatakarni. The important ruler was Gautamiputra Shatakarni. So we have discussed about Shatavahanas, right? Shatavahanas political history. We have discussed about Shatavahanas administration and economical conditions, religious conditions of Shatavahanas, literature, art and architecture of Shatavahanas. So we have discussed all these topics. What is that? The political history of Shatavahanas. The political history of Shatavahanas. And administration system. What kind of administration was there? What kind of administration system was there? And economical condition, social conditions, religious conditions, and also we have discussed about literature. You know, in Shatavahanas, there was great literature. Gunadjudu, the first writer, the first written writer, Gunadjudu. What is the book of Gunadhya or Gunadjudu or Gunadhya? What is the book? Yes, Bruhat Katha. There is a great literature, Bruhat Katha. Hala Satakarni, Haludu or Hala Satakarni, he wrote Gada Saptashati. He wrote Gada Saptashati. Bruhat Katha, Gada Saptashati and Somadeva Suri. Katha Sarit Sagaram. Somadeva Suri. Katha Sarit Sagaram. And Sharvavarma's Katantra Vyakaranamu. Sharvavarma's Katantra Vyakaranamu. Kutuhala Lilavati Parinayamu. So we have lot of literature in Shatavahanas. So we have discussed about Shatavahana literature. As well as we have discussed about art and architecture. Caves. They constructed so many caves. Shatavahanas constructed Nasik caves, Kaneri caves. There are so many caves. And there is art also. So we have discussed about in first unit, third lesson. In first unit, third lesson, that is Shatavahana kingdom. As well as Shatavahana political history, Shatavahana administration, Shatavahana economical, social, religious conditions, and also we should discuss about the literature and art and architecture of Shatavahanas. And the fourth chapter in this first unit, fourth chapter, Ikshvakas. Ikshvakas. So we have discussed about Ikshvakas. So we have discussed about Ikshvakas. Right, you know, after Shatavahanas, there were Ikshvakas. Shatavahana ruled Nagarjuna Konda, Vijayapuri capital, as a Vijayapuri capital. Vijayapuri was the capital of Ikshvakas. So Ikshvakas ruled our area. That's why we have discussed about Ikshvakas. Especially in the period of Ikshvakas, Nandikonda became the educational hub. Nandikonda became educational hub or education, it has education institutions, Nandikonda. You see? So, in the period of Ikshvakas, Buddhism became very popular. Buddhism became very popular, and it was the official religion to the Ikshvakas. So, after Shatavahanas, we have to discuss about Ikshvakas, right? So, after Shatavahanas, immediately we have Ikshvakas, right? So, Ikshvakas political history, Ikshvakas administration, Ikshvakas social and religious condition and architecture. You know, in the period of Ikshvakas, the temple construction was started. The temple construction. Before Ikshvakas, there was no temple construction. There were no temples before Ikshvakas. But in the period of Ikshvakas only, the temples were constructed. The number of temples were constructed in Ikshvakas period. That's why we have discussed about Ikshvakas political history, administration, religious conditions, social conditions and architecture. Right. After Ikshvakas, fifth chapter, fifth lesson in first unit. All these consists with the first unit only. All these lessons in first unit only. Right. So the Vishnu Kundinis. So the Vishnu Kundinis. So we have discussed about Vishnu Kundinis. Right. Next, Vishnu Kundinis. You know, Vishnu Kundinis also one of the important kingdom in Andhra area, in AP history also. They ruled Telangana area and Andhra area. So their capital Indrapala Nagaram in Telangana, and second capital was Amaravati. The second capital was Amaravati. Even the Dendulur also one of the capital. Dendulur nearby Elur, Dendulur. So we have Amaravati. It was the capital of Vishnu Kundinis. Dendulur also was the capital of Vishnu Kundinis. So Vishnu Kundini, they ruled Telangana area as well as the Andhra area. Indravarma, Madhavarma, second Madhavarma, Vijayendra Varma, they have Govinda Varma. Sorry. So there are so many rulers in Vishnu Kundini dynasty. You know, Vishnu Kundinis constructed cave temples. Vishnu Kundinis constructed cave temples. Right? Ikshvakas constructed temples only. Ikshvakas constructed caves only. Sorry, temples only. Shatavahanas constructed caves only. You identify the difference between these three rulers. First, Shatavahanas constructed caves. Right. Ikshvakas constructed temples. But Vishnu Kundinis constructed cave temples. Cave temples. For example, Undavalli cave temples. Do you know Undavelli nearby Vijayawada. Nearby Vijayawada, there are Undavelli cave temples. So there is Ananta Padmanabha Swami idol is there in Undavelli caves. So nearby Vijayawada, Undavelli caves are there. And Mughal Rajapuram cave temples. Mughal Rajapuram cave temple, it is in Vijayawada. Do you know in Vijayawada, Mughal Rajapuram cave temples? So in Vijayawada town, only Mughal Rajapuram cave temples are there. And Bhairava Kona cave temples in Nellore district, I think. So whenever we are going to discuss about the Vishnu Kundinis, we should know about the cave temples. The famous kingdom for cave temples, that is the Vishnu Kundini. Okay, right. We have discussed about Vishnu Kundinis as well as administration, political history, administration, economical, social, religious conditions, everything. So we have discussed about Vishnu Kundinis. After that, sixth lesson, Eastern Chalukyas. Eastern Chalukyas. So we have to discuss about Eastern Chalukyas, also called Vengi Chalukyas. Eastern Chalukyas also called Vengi Chalukyas. So we have discussed about Eastern Chalukyas or Vengi Chalukyas. You know, second Pulakeshi. Who was second Pulakeshi? Second Pulakeshi was the important ruler in Western Chalukya dynasty or Badami Chalukya dynasty. You know, Western Chalukyas, Badami Chalukyas, Vatapi Chalukyas, all are same, but don't have any confusion. So Western Chalukyas, Badami Chalukyas, as well as Vatapi Chalukyas, right? So that Western Chalukya's important ruler, who was the important ruler in Western Chalukya's dynasty, that was second Pulakeshi, the great ruler. He defeated Harshavardhana. Yes, he defeated Harshavardhana. Right. That second Pulakeshi defeated up to Bay of Bengal in the east, in our Andhra area. So he defeated up to Bay of Bengal, and he was going back to his kingdom. While going back, so he appointed his brother Kubja Vishnuvardhana as the representative of this eastern area. Their first capital, Eastern Chalukya's first capital was Pistapuram. It's called Pistapuram. It's the first capital of these Eastern Chalukyas. Later, the Vengi became the capital. Vengi means nearby Elur. The Vengi is the second capital to Eastern Chalukyas. Whenever Vengi became the capital, the name of Eastern Chalukyas became as Vengi Chalukyas. In the place of Eastern Chalukyas, as well as we can say Eastern Chalukyas, and simultaneously we can say that the Vengi Chalukyas, Eastern and Vengi. So it is the vast dynasty, the lengthest dynasty. They have lot of rulers. From Kubja Vishnuvardhana to Rajendra Chola. Okay, near about 500 years. 500 years ago, the Eastern Chalukyas ruled 500 years ago. Okay, they ruled about 500 years. Right, so Eastern Chalukyas, their political history, their administration, their religion, social conditions, and architecture, religion, and literature. You know, they constructed Samarla Kota, Kumara Bhimeshwaralayam. These Cholas, these Eastern Chalukyas constructed Chalukya Bhimeshwara, the great construction. Architecture was very good, and as well as literature. In the period of, in the region of this Eastern Chalukyas, Telugu literature, the Telugu literature was started. Nannaya, Adi Kavi Nannaya, he was there in the period of Eastern Chalukyas. Raja Narendra. In the period of Raja Narendra, there was the great writer of Telugu literature, Adi Kavi. What is that? Adi Kavi Nannaya. He was there in the court of Raja Narendra. So there was great literature, great architecture in Eastern Chalukyas period. So all these chapters in first unit, all these lessons, not chapters, all these lessons are in first unit. So we have discussed about all these first unit chapters, lessons. So we have discussed about all the lessons which are in first unit. So up to Vengi Chalukyas, we have discussed up to Vengi Chalukyas in first unit. And second unit. What is second unit? Yeah, second unit also consists so many chapters, so many lessons. In second unit, what is second unit? Various major and minor dynasties. Various major minor dynasties that ruled AP in between 11th to 16th century. So various minor and major dynasties. So first lesson, what is first lesson? What is first lesson in second unit? So the major and minor dynasties. The major and minor dynasties. The major and minor dynasties in Andhra Pradesh. The major and minor dynasties in AP Andhra Pradesh. What are the major and minor dynasties? What are the major and minor dynasties in Andhra Pradesh from 11th century to 16th century? Whenever 11th century is completed, so in the 11th century, Eastern Chalukya dynasty was going to complete. In 11th century, the dynasty, whose dynasty? So whose dynasty is there? So Eastern Chalukya dynasty. In 11th century, there was Eastern Chalukya dynasty. After 11th century, after 11th century, what are the dynasties in Andhra Pradesh? So here, first concept in second unit, Kakatiya dynasty. Kakatiya dynasty, one of the great dynasty in Andhra Pradesh and also in Telangana, that is Kakatiya dynasty. Kakatiya dynasty. The biggest dynasty. They ruled Telangana, Karnataka, Andhra, up to Tamil Nadu border. Kakatiya dynasty was the biggest dynasty. Kakatiya dynasty, one of the beautiful dynasty in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana also. One of the beautiful dynasty. Okay. So here, Kakatiya dynasty was established by the founder of Kakatiya dynasty, Betaraju I. Betaraju I. Who was last ruler of Kakatiya dynasty? Second Prataparudra. So here, Ganapati Deva, Rudramadevi, Rudradeva, there are so many rulers in Kakatiya dynasty. The great rulers. the important rulers in Kakatiya dynasty. Right? There are so many rulers. Ganapati Deva, the great ruler, the woman ruler in India after Rajya Sultana, the second ruler in India after Rajya Sultana, the second ruler in India was Rudramadevi. Rudramadevi was the second ruler, second woman ruler in India. So she was there in Kakatiya dynasty. Okay, so we have to discuss about Kakatiya dynasty rulers, their political history, their religion, administration, social, religious conditions, architecture, and also we have discussed about their constructions. That is Kakatiya dynasty, first lesson in second unit. And next we have to discuss about post-Kakatiyas. Post-Kakatiyas or post-Kakatiya dynasty. So post-Kakatiyas. You know, after the collapsation of Kakatiya dynasty, you know, Juna Khan, that means Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Juna Khan, as well as we can say Muhammad bin Tughlaq, he defeated second Prataparudra, the last ruler of Kakatiya dynasty. The last ruler of Kakatiya dynasty, that was second Prataparudra. He was defeated by Juna Khan alias Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Whenever Juna Khan defeated Kakatiya dynasty, the Kakatiya dynasty was declined. The Kakatiya dynasty was ended. After Kakatiya dynasty, what are the dynasties ruled our Andhra Pradesh area? What are the dynasties? These are called post-Kakatiyas. Post-Kakatiya rulers. Okay, you know, actually, after the Kakatiyas, we have three dynasties. These rulers who established these dynasties, they were the Nayankaras in Kakatiya dynasty. In Kakatiya dynasty, we have 77 Nayankaras. In Kakatiya dynasty, we have 77 Nayankaras. So that is why here, after the completion of Kakatiya dynasty, we have three dynasties, small dynasties. Musnuru Nayaka dynasty, Musnuru Nayaka dynasty, Musnuru Nayaka dynasty, Reddy Kingdom, and Raycherla Padmanayaka Kingdom. Raycherla Padmanayaka Kingdom. So, after the declining of Kakatiya dynasty, there are three dynasties established by Nayankaras. There were three dynasties established by Nayankaras. Who are the Nayankaras in the Kakatiya period? They established three kingdoms. One, Musnuru Nayaka kingdom. Musnuru Nayaka kingdom means they started ruling from Rekapalli, Bhadrachalam Taluka Rekapalli. So they ruled East Godavari, West Godavari areas. That Musnuru Nayaka kingdom. They ruled up to East Godavari, West Godavari area. So after the Kakatiyas, we have Musnuru Nayaka kingdom. That is Kamma dynasty. That is Kamma dynasty. Kammas. Right. Next, Reddy kingdom. So one of the community, Reddy. These community people also, one of the important Nayankaras in Kakatiya dynasty. They started the kingdom, they established the kingdom from Addanki. Their capital was, first capital was Addanki. They ruled from Addanki Reddys. It's called Reddy kingdom. After that, they shifted the capital to Rajamahendravaram. So here we have Addanki Reddy kingdom, Rajamahendravaram Reddy kingdom. Okay, we have discussed about the Reddy kingdom. And Recharla Padmanayaka dynasty. Recharla Padmanayaka dynasty. So this is not related to AP history. This is not related to AP history. This is only related to Telangana history. Because these people established kingdom in Devarakonda area, Rachakonda area of Telangana. Rachakonda area, Devarakonda area, areas in Telangana. So they ruled. These people also, Nayankaras, these people also were Nayankaras in the period of Kakatiyas. So whenever Kakatiya dynasty declined, they went to different areas and established the kingdoms. But these both related to Andhra history, AP history, but this is related to only purely Telangana history. This kingdom also called Rachakonda Padmanayakas, also called Devarakonda Padmanayakas. That's why. So we should not discuss about, we won't discuss about these people. Only we have to discuss about these two kingdoms. So this is called post-Kakatiya dynasty. After that, we have one more, Vijayanagara dynasty. Vijayanagara dynasty. Right. We have discussed about Vijayanagara dynasty. You know, in the court of Kakatiyas, the chief treasurer and treasurer, both are the brothers. In the court of Kakatiyas, there are two brothers. Who are the brothers? Arihara Rayalu, Bukka Rayalu. So Arihara Rayalu, Bukka Rayalu. These are the two brothers. They established one dynasty that is called Vijayanagara dynasty in 1336 on the bank of Tungabhadra in Karnataka. On the bank of Tungabhadra in Karnataka, Arihara and Bukka Rayalu. Arihara and Bukka Rayalu. So Arihara and Bukka Rayalu. These two brothers established a glorious, a marvelous, a beautiful kingdom on the bank of Tungabhadra. So our Telugu people went to Karnataka area and established a dynasty. Telugu people who were the chief treasurer and treasurer in the court of Kakatiyas. Treasurer and chief treasurer in the court of Kakatiyas. The two brothers, they established a beautiful, beautiful kingdom. The glorious kingdom on the bank of Vijayanagara. Sangama, Saluva, Tuluva, Araviti. These four clans, these four dynasties ruled Vijayanagara kingdom. What was that? Sangama. Next, Saluva. Third one, Tuluva. Fourth one, Araviti. You know, one of the greatest ruler in India. One of the undefeated ruler in India. Sri Krishna Devarayalu. Undefeated king in India, Sri Krishna Devarayalu, also belongs to this Vijayanagara dynasty. Sri Krishna Devarayalu. He ruled this Vijayanagara dynasty. He defeated up to Kalinga. Although he was ruling from Karnataka, Vijayanagara, Hampi, Vijayanagaram, he was ruling from that area. But he conquered up to Kalinga Gajapatulu. Our Vijayawada, Kondapalli, Ibrahimpatnam, Machilipatnam, Guntur, Chittur, Nellur, Ongol, East West, Godavari, Rajamandri, Vijayanagara, Srikakulam, Kalinga. This total area was conquered by Sri Krishna Devarayalu. So we have to discuss about the Vijayanagara rulers. We have discussed about the Vijayanagara rulers. Right? In that Vijayanagara rulers, most of all we have to concentrate on Sri Krishna Devarayala kingdom. You know, Sri Krishna Devarayalu, he has Ashtadiggaja poets. In the court of Sri Krishna Devarayalu, you know, Sri Krishna Devarayalu encouraged literature, Telugu, Sanskrit. He encouraged Telugu literature even though Sanskrit literature. In his court, we have 8 the eminent writers. They are called Diggaja, like elephant. Alasani Peddana, Nanditimmana, Pingali Surana, Tenali Ramakrishna, Durjati, Ayyalaraja Ramabhadrudu, Ramaraja Bhushanudu, Madaya Gari Mallana. These are 5 eminent writers in the period of Sri Krishna Devarayalu. So we have discussed about the literature of Sri Krishna Devarayalu period. And you know, basically Sri Krishna Devarayalu also writer. He wrote Amukta Malyatha, the Prabandha. It's a great Prabandha, Amukta Malyatha. Sri Krishna Devarayalu wrote this Amukta Malyatha. You know, all these poets, they wrote so many books. For example, Allasani Peddana, Manu Charitra. Allasani Peddana wrote Manu Charitra. Nanditimmana wrote Parijata Paharanamu. Pingali Surana, Kala Purnodayamu. Tenali Ramakrishna, Panduranga Mahatyamu. Durjati, Kalahasti Ishvara Shatakamu. So, like this, we have so many writers, great writers, the eminent writers in the period of Sri Krishna Devarayalu. Right? So now, Vijayanagara rulers, their political history, their administration, their social, religious conditions, their literature, architecture, everything we have discussed. That is Vijayanagara rulers. And you know, after Vijayanagara, we have discussed about Qutub Shahis. After Vijayanagara, we have discussed about Qutub Shahis. Qutub Shahis. You know, our Andhra and Telangana both were ruled by Qutub Shahis. Qutub Shahi dynasty was established in 1512 to up to 1687. 1512 to up to 1687 there was Qutub Shahi dynasty ruled our Andhra Pradesh area. You know, Qutub Shahis, we can say them sultans. Sultan Kuli, Jamshid Kuli, Ibrahim Kuli, Muhammad Kuli Qutub Shah, Sultan Kuli Qutub Shah. So Abdullah Qutub Shah, Abul Hasan Thani Shah, we have so many Qutub Shahi rulers. They ruled our Andhra Pradesh area from Golconda capital. Golconda capital. So you know, Kshetraya in our Krishna district, Muva, nearby Chalapalli area, Muva. So here, Muva Gopala Padalu, who created Muva Gopala Padalu, who wrote Muva Gopala Padalu, that was Kshetraya. Kshetraya belongs to this Muva Krishna district area. So he was there in the period of Qutub Shahis. Qutub Shahi rulers encouraged and they appreciated Kshetraya. So Qutub Shahi rulers constructed Charminar in Hyderabad and Puranapul in Hyderabad. So they have constructed so many constructions. They ruled our Andhra Pradesh area, and we have discussed about their literature, art, architecture, painting. You know, in the period of Ibrahim Quli Qutub Shah, we have the great writers Kandukuri Rudra Kavi, Addanki Gangadhara Kavi, Ponnaganti Telanganarya, Mallareddy, etc. poets were there in the period of Ibrahim Quli Qutub Shah. Even though, you know, Kandukuri Rudra Kavi, great poet in the period of Qutub Shah is Ibrahim Quli Qutub Shah. Kandukuri Rudra Kavi wrote, what was the great book of Kandukuri Rudra Kavi? Sugriva Vijayam. Sugriva Vijayam. It was written by Kandukuri Rudra Kavi, who was in the period of, in the court of Ibrahim Quli Qutub Shah. Addanki Gangadhara Kavi, Tapati Samarnopakyanam. And Ponnaganti Telanganarya, Yayati Charitra. Mallareddy, Shat Chakravarti Charitra. And also in the period of Muhammad Quli Qutub Shah, Sarangu Tammayya, one of the writers, Sarangu Tammayya was there in the period of Muhammad Quli Qutub Shah. He wrote Vaijayanti Vilasamu. Sarangu Tammayya wrote Vaijayanti Vilasamu. So the beautiful, beautiful poets, writers. So we have discussed about Qutub Shahis also. So Kakatiya dynasty, post to Kakatiya dynasties, Vijayanagara dynasty, Qutub Shahi dynasty. We have discussed about all these dynasties and growth of Telugu language. Next lesson in this second chapter, second unit, growth of Telugu language. What is Telugu? What was the progress and growth of Telugu? We have discussed all these lessons in this second unit, right? And we have to go to third unit. You know, what is third unit? So up to 1600, from Shatavahana to up to 1600, we have discussed all the dynasties. And the third unit, unit number third. So here, advent of Europeans. In the third chapter, first lesson is advent of Europeans. So advent of Europeans. You know, Europeans came to India on the name of trading and business. Advent of Europeans. You know, they came to our India as well as they came to our Andhra Pradesh. Okay, in those days, Machilipatnam, Bandar, Machilipatnam was the biggest harbour, business center in the period of Kakatiyas, Qutub Shahis, all Vengi Chalukyas, everybody. So, you see, Europeans came to India as well as they came to India, Andhra Pradesh. Five Europeans came to India. In that 5 Europeans, Portuguese, Dutch, British, Danish and French. You know, Portuguese, their business center, Machilipatnam, Portuguese, their business center Machilipatnam, and Dutch, they came to our area. Britishers, Yanam, this Machilipatnam, Nagapatnam, everything. They ruled these areas, they captured these areas. Even the French and Danish. All these people came to India, including our Andhra Pradesh, for the business and trading. And what are the business centers of British in India, in our Andhra Pradesh? What are the business centers? What are the business centers of Britishers in our AP? And while Britishers were ruling, there were social awakening movements. Here, second point is business centers of Britishers. And third, social awakening programs. Social awakening programs. What are the social awakening programs? Especially Kandukuri Veerashalingam. We have discussed about Kandukuri Veerashalingam, and before Kandukuri Veerashalingam and also after Kandukuri Veerashalingam. He established Itakarni Society. Kandukuri Veerashalingam established Itakarni Society, and he strived for the removing of child marriages, and also he wanted to start the remarriage to widows. Great social worker, great social reformer, Kandukuri Veerashalingam. He was the follower of Brahma Samaj in our AP. So we have to discuss about Kandukuri Veerashalingam's awakening programs, and also we have discussed about Justice Party. Fourth lesson, Justice Party, and self-respect movement. And we have discussed about self-respect movement. You know, it was started in Tamil Nadu. Justice Party and self-respect movement. It was started in Tamil Nadu, Madras. Once we were the part of Madras state. So obviously we have to discuss about, we have to read about these people, we have to study about these movements. Justice Party and self-respect movement, Periyar Swami, Ramaswamy Nayakar, E.V. Ramaswamy Nayakar, Periyar Swami. He started self-respect movement in Tamil Nadu. So he fought against Brahmana domination. He supported to Dravidians. He started the Dravidian movements. That is why, so we have discussed about Justice Party and self-respect movement, Periyar Swami movement, and growth of national movement in AP. The growth of national movement in AP. Yeah, we have national movement concepts in AP. Tax refusing movement and salt satyagraha. You know, Duggirala Gopala Krishnaya, Ramadandu, Parvataneni Veerayya Chaudhary, Andhra Shivaji, Alluri Sitaramaraju, Manyam Veerudu, Kannaganti Hanumantu, Konda Venkatappayya. There are so many freedom fighters. There are so many freedom movements. Vande Mataram movement, Gadicherla Ari Sarvottamarao, Vande Mataram movement. So we have so many nationalist programs in our AP. In between 1885 to 1947, we have discussed all these things. And next, role of so socialists and communists. Role of socialists and communist. Role of socialist and communist. We have discussed about role of socialists and communists, right? Socialist and communist. There are so many movements. CPI, Communist Party of India. After that, CPM. But here, Putsalapalli Sundaraya, Chandra Pullareddy, Putsalapalli Sundaraya, Chandra Pullareddy, NG Ranga, etc. Communists are there, socialists are there. What kind of movements they have done? We have discussed about their movements, that is role of socialist and communist. And next we have the anti-Jamindari and Kisan movements. Anti-Jamindari and Kisan movements. Here in our Andhra Pradesh, we have Jamindari princely states, Jamindari estates, Challapalli, Venkatagiri, Nellore. So we have so many Jamindari estates, Jamindari princely estates. There were the movements against to these Jamindaris. So Challapalli Raja estate, Venkatagiri, Chandragiri, even though we have so many princely estates, we have discussed about these estates and princely estates. And next concept, this is Jamindari, movements against Jamindari system. And next we have that, what is the growth of nationalist poetry, revolutionary literature and Nataka programs. Growth of nationalist poetry. We can say there was so much poetry influenced the people, and revolutionary writers. There are so many revolutionary writers. Okay, as well as we have so many drama systems, Nataka systems, and women participations. Next one, last lesson, third chapter, third unit, women participations. Who are the women participating in these movements, in nationalist movements? We have to discuss about all these. Unit number third, we have discussed about unit number third. And next we have fourth unit. So we have fourth unit. That fourth unit is fourth unit. Fourth unit, we have discussed about fourth unit. What is fourth unit? So, origins and growth of Andhra movement. There was Andhra movement. It was started in Bapatla. From there, we have Andhra Mahasabha. It was working for the autonomous freedom, liberty to Andhra people. And role of Andhra Mahasabha. What was role of Andhra Mahasabha? What kind of measurements, what kind of role it has in that movement? And events leading to the formation of AP state in 1953. What were the events? What were the events, incidents leading to the formation of AP state? Andhra state, Andhra area, Rayalaseema area were part of Madras state. In the period of Asabjais, rulers, Andhra Telangana was separated. Andhra Telangana was separated in the period of Asabjais. Especially Asabjai ruler Salabat Jung, he adopted the Guntur, Vijayawada, Ibrahimpatnam, Machilipatnam, North Sarkar districts to Britishers, as well as Rayalaseema districts adapted to Britishers. So that is why once Andhra, Rayalaseema, Telangana under the one king ruling in Qutub Shahi's period like that, but in the Asabjais, Andhra, Rayalaseema were separated from Telangana. Andhra, Rayalaseema were the part of Madras state. So the Telugu people who were speaking Telugu in Madras state, that area people, they fought against Madras government for the separation of Andhra area. So Andhra people started agitation for the separate state. There was Thar committee, Thar commission, also JVP commission was there, and Fazl Ali commission. So whatever, because of the struggle, because of the fighting agitations, there was Andhra state. In 1953, Andhra state was formed. In 1953, Andhra state was formed. First CM was Tanguturi Prakasham Pantulu. First capital was Karimnagar. Kurnool. First capital was Kurnool. So in 1953, October 1st, Andhra state was formed, as well as the capital was Kurnool. Right? We have discussed about the formation of Andhra state. And library movement and press also. We have to discuss about library movement and press in Andhra Pradesh. We have discussed about all these things. And tribal folk and culture, folk arts and culture. We have discussed about tribal folk arts and culture in Andhra Pradesh. Okay. Now we have to go to fourth. So fourth chapter is fourth unit. So after that, after fourth chapter, we have fifth chapter. Now we have discussed about fifth chapter. In the fourth chapter, especially, or fourth unit, especially we have formation of Andhra state. We have discussed about formation of Andhra state. Right. Here in fifth chapter, we have discussed about Vishalandhra Mahasabha. Vishalandhra Mahasabha in 1950. So first chapter we have discussed about Vishalandhra Mahasabha. In fifth unit we have first lesson Vishalandhra Mahasabha. We have discussed about Vishalandhra Mahasabha. What is Vishalandhra Mahasabha? For the formation of Andhra Pradesh. For the formation of Andhra Pradesh, there was Vishalandhra Mahasabha in 1950. Okay. And also Ayadevara Kaleshwar Rao established Vishalandhra Mahasabha. Ayadevara Kaleshwar Rao. We have discussed about that Vishalandhra Mahasabha. And as well as events leading to the formation of Andhra Pradesh state. So Andhra people and Telangana people, they wanted to become as a one state, Telugu state. That's why here, what are the events? What are the events leading to? What are the events leading to the formation of Andhra Pradesh? So what are the events were happened? What were the concepts were happened for the formation of Andhra Pradesh state? And SRC, State Reorganization Commission, SRC commission was there under Fazl Ali authority, Fazl Ali leadership. There was SRC, State Reorganization Commission, SRC was there. So SRC fought. So SRC submitted the report for the formation of linguistic based states. So Fazl Ali, it's called Fazl Ali Commission. In 1953, December 22, Fazl Ali Commission was appointed for the formation of linguistic based states. So as per the Fazl Ali Commission, in 1956, there are linguistic based states. Okay, so we have discussed about SRC, its recommendations, and gentleman agreement. You know, one more concept, gentleman agreement. Gentleman agreement was between Andhra leaders and Telangana leaders for the Vishalandhra concept. Gentleman agreement. So, what was gentleman agreement? There were gentlemen elders from Telangana area and as well as Andhra area. So there were 4 leaders from Andhra area as well as 4 leaders from Telangana area. The 4 leaders from Andhra area were Bejwala Gopal Reddy, Neelam Sanjeeva Reddy, Alluri Satyanarayana Raju, Gautu Latsanna. These 4 members, Bejwala Gopal Reddy, Neelam Sanjeeva Reddy, Gautu Latsanna, Alluri Satyanarayana Raju. These are 4 members from Andhra side, and Burgala Ramakrishna Rao, K.V. Rangareddy, Mari Channareddy, J.V. Narsingh Rao. Once again, Burgala Ramakrishna Rao, K.V. Rangareddy, Mari Channareddy, J.V. Narsingh Rao. These 8 members were participated in the gentleman agreement in Delhi in front of Home Minister Govind Vallabh Pant. They signed, these 8 members signed on gentleman agreement. It is in 1956, February 20, gentleman agreement. Right? As per that gentleman agreement, Andhra state, Andhra Pradesh was established. Andhra Pradesh was formed. Right? After that, you know, after that, we have Jai Andhra movement. After that, we have Jai Andhra movement. Even the Telangana people, they have done Jai Telangana movement in 1969. Jai Telangana movement. After Jai Telangana movement, we have Jai Andhra movement, 1972, Jai Andhra movement. President rule in Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so who are the rulers? Ruled Andhra Pradesh from 1956 to up to 2014. We have discussed about all these CMs, their administration, and in 2014, in the 6th chapter, we have discussed about 6th unit. We have discussed about 6th unit. So in 5th unit, we have to discuss events leading to the formation of Andhra Pradesh state. It is a 5th unit. Vishalandhra Mahasabha concept, SRC recommendations, gentleman agreement, important social cultural events between 1956 to 2014. We have discussed about all these events in 5th chapter. And we have 6th chapter, AP bifurcation. So in the 6th chapter, we have discussed about AP bifurcation. So AP bifurcation, we have discussed about AP Telangana was divided. And next to AP bifurcation, after that we have new capital. We have new capital. And next to bifurcation process and committees, everything is there. Here we have to discuss about all these things, all these lessons in 6th chapter. Right? So these are the 6 units in AP history prescribed by Andhra Pradesh Public Service Commission. If you write any exam regarding APPSC, Group 1, Group 2, Group 3, SI Constable, Panchayat Raj Secretary, VROs, if you write any kind of examination related to APPSC, this is the AP history. This is the syllabus of AP history. We have discussed about the syllabus of, we discussed about the syllabus, prescribed syllabus of AP history. So, what I am saying, every aspirant every aspirant, they have to know syllabus first of all. Without knowing syllabus, if you prepare for the history subject, no use. First of all, you should have an idea about the syllabus of history. So you write the syllabus in your text or notebook. Clearly, neatly, you write the syllabus in your notebook, AP history syllabus, and you by heart first. I know AP history, oh this is the, no, not like that. You by heart the syllabus. How many chapters? 6 chapters. First chapter consists, what are the lessons? Second chapter consists, what are the lessons, like this. You have to by heart all the lessons from first lesson to ending lesson. If you get that kind of idea, if you get that kind of knowledge, then only you may able to understand the history syllabus of Andhra Pradesh. Right? So I wish you all the best. You have to prepare history thoroughly like this. So one by one chapters. So all the best. Good luck.